Hello and Happy New Year, everybody. This is Patti Negri, and welcome to the Witching Hour. Yep, that hour of the day when the veil is thin and magic happens. And we have some of the most magical magic I know, and one of the most magical persons I have ever met in my life. I'm honored to call him friend. I've studied with him. I love him. Let me introduce you to Orion Foxwood. He is an elder in the tradition. He is an elder in the traditional craft, a Southern and Appalachian conjure man, a carrier, collector, writer, and caster of spoken charms, a fairy seer, and a self-styled eco-magical activist. And I don't even know what that means. I could list about 48 things because I found about 52 bios on him, but truly one of the most magical, well-spoken, magical worded people I have ever met. Welcome, Orion. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. It's wonderful to be on here. You know, I'm a big fan. So
Thank you. And I of you. We met several years ago at a local here in Los Angeles store at the Green Man, and I've taken some classes. I've done a little bit of ritual with you at the beach.
mhm.
And this is your third year, I think, doing our New Year's show. So you're our only
Ooh,
repeat customer on this, our guest. So what better way to start the new year than with you?
yeah. I feel blessed to be on here.
Thanks.
Hey, you
So
mentioned my little title, Eco Magical Activist, is because
yeah,
I'm the only one. It's a term. One day I was thinking about something that really encapsulated what I'm about. And and really Eco Magical Activist was it because for me everything is for the love of Earth. Bottom line, for the love of Earth. I'm in love with this planet, always have been. And so uh and I believe all witches should be. And we should put our power behind protecting this earth, which needs protecting right now. And it's the best earth we got, and the only earth we got. It's the earth of all our ancestors. So I put my magic behind that. So that's why I call it eco magical and activism, because I try to shake up the world with a little bit of magic with muscle.
I love that. I'm one of those now too. I too am an eco magical activist, following in your footsteps. And we do.
Oh,
We have to. If we don't save this beautiful little planet of ours, and I do notice that more and more people are either, whether in our craft or not, are more and more aware of the elemental kingdom, of people
oh
who,
yeah.
fairies, more popular than ever, besides witchcraft being more popular. People I've noticed that, like, are maybe more new age and this and that, they're going, I saw a gnome. A gnome was real.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You
So,
know, it's funny with fairy tradition and with witchcraft. Like one year, I was at a friend's shop out in Santa Cruz, Serpent's Kiss, wonderful, wonderful place. And I was with Susan, and these little kids came in, right? And so I'm in the back doing stuff. I think I was doing readings that day or something. And so these two, a little boy, little girl, very young, maybe 5 or 6. So they look back there and Susan sees them look back there, and the parents see them look, and she goes, "What you looking at?" They said, "Who's he? What's he?" She said, "He's a witch. He's an elf witch." They go, and so they said, "Can we go back and see him?" She goes, "I think so." She goes, "He really likes to bless kids," and so the parents bring them back. They're going, "Are you really an elf witch?" I said, they said, "Do you have pointed ears?" I said, "Look." And I do actually have pointed ears. And so they looked, they said, "Can we touch?" I said, "Yes, do it delicately and make a wish." And they made a wish. I did a little blessing on them, gave them a little stone. And their parents were wonderful. They said they'll never forget this day for the rest of their lives. So I think it is incumbent, both fairy and witchcraft both have something in them. And that is something that every child and every adult hopes for, and that is magic and the innocence of the world again. And that, as my elder said, where there is magic, there is hope.
yeah.
And I think that we have to be that. And this is a charge I put out there to all witches. When you encounter children, heck, when you encounter adults, often there's the fear of us, and that's all propaganda, and we know that's all crap. But
Yeah.
deep down inside, you find a lot of people go, always wanted to meet a witch, and I knew witches were good. I knew it, and it's very sweet. So I think we hold, in a way, a fairy tale type magic, And I think that we hold this people hope that magic is real,
Yeah.
and I always say that miracles, that's our job, you know.
It is, and people have to be able to escape. I hear it all the time. Just there has to be more than what you see here on this TV screen, on this thing. What's going on in the world? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! And yeah, there's more. There's sparkles. There's fairies. There's magic. We can
Oh
take
yeah.
control. You don't have to be a victim to everything. It's or anything for that matter. So
We I have a saying, and that was, we were born to paint the truth of our spirit onto the canvas of form, not to be trapped in another's painting.
oh,
And the sooner we come out of that amnesia, that illusion of isolation, which is really what kills us, we can wake up to the fact that we are an extension of the universe. Well, I have this actually, this little saying, and I wrote it, yeah, I guess it was a couple of years ago when I was studying some about iron, and all iron is made when stars burn out. That's the only way iron is made, and that includes the iron in the earth, came from meteorites, and the iron in our blood. So I thought, sometimes when we're looking up at a star and it's shining, it's caught our attention, and we're like, I wonder if I came from there. I wonder if the star is looking at you going, I wonder if I've become them. So I wrote up this little ditty. It's, we are stars with human feet, encountering starlight and all we meet. Know this, grow this, and ignite, and the stars will guide you through the darkest night. And we have to know that we are the stars looking back at themselves. And a lot of people don't know this too, that the word universe, universa, means one song,
really?
one song. And we are notes in that song. And I think this time on the planet is not about dimming down. It's about rising up. Life is not waiting for us to catch up. It's waiting for us to get all the way in. And we're not born to go on low beam. We're born to go on high beam because the universe has never been you before, not the you are now.
No, and I like that about a song because song, music is such magic. And you are the most musical even speaker
Mm,
again that I've ever met. Your rhymes, your charms, and everything. And there's magic within that itself. So
thank
maybe
you.
that sound is just so much even more apart than so many people realize as we have the news in the
Yeah.
background and
And we
everything.
got to mind our breath. When we breathe, this is another couple of things to think about. When we breathe, breath is the beginning of all existence, or I should say, the exhalation of the void. It was the beginning of all creation. That's the divine word. So when right now, as we breathe, right, our lips are on the mouth of eternity. Really, literally, our mouth is on the lips of space. There's nothing between us and space. Of course, we're made up of mostly space. And so when we breathe in, we're breathing in eternal presence. When we breathe out, we're releasing into the mouth of eternal presence uh, the fetters, the limitations. I always put a charm on mine. With every breath I take and release, I cast a spell of love and peace. And the breath, what we breathe into being. Breath is the horse that starlight rides. So we ignite things into existence when we breathe for eternity, because this is the mouth named after Orion's mouth, right? Which is a specific mouth on the face of eternity, right? Because we're the expression of the universe. We're just, we're the universe with human feet. We're born of a benevolent conspiracy between, I always say, the High Father and the Deep Mother,
Oh.
and here we are. And I'm a little arrogant about it. I tell people all the time, do you know who my mother is? And they're like, huh? I said, she is the matrix of matter and empress of eternity. That makes me heir to everything. you know. But humbly said, we have got to awaken. And I hope this year it really awaken as conscious creators. We cannot continue to create by default. Can't continue to surrender to the song of sorrow we were born from. We've got to seize the reins of our own spirit and make a decision that what we want this world to be, and how we want it to be a healing, good world for all of us, not just some of us, you know?
Yes. Amen. So what do you I know it's like, yes, I've been sure. So what do you think now? We are, this COVID thing continues. We are coming out of it. But speaking of breath and everything, we've spent a couple of years with masks and things on. So how do you think that's affected us negatively, positively to come out of it? Maybe a lesson? I
I
agree.
think, I think I have a sense of what the spirits that be want for us from it. And then for some, it was good, for some, it was bad. I think mostly good. Like one of the ways I used it was every time, well, staying home was to protect my breath and the breath of those I live with, right? My beloved. But when I would go out into the world, I would wear the mask to protect all those I do not know. Not just protect me from all those I do not know, but protect. So I thought of it as a type of grail. Every time I went to put this mask on, I would stop and look at it and think, this reminds me that all of us dip into and drink from the same well, and that being the well of breath itself. And by wearing this, I reaffirm my connectedness to all of humanity and all of life. So I'm hopeful, and for a lot of people, I think this is true, that the virus caused us to realize that we've got to care for our elders. Number one, we have to care for the breath, and caring for my breath is to care for your breath because we're breathing from the same environment, right? It paused us and made us stay home, recenter and connect. And in some ways, many ways, I looked at our apartment like a fortress, right, against getting ill. And so I found myself being grateful, grateful, grateful for it. But above all, if we don't get the lesson that we are all children of one mother, sister and brother, human and other, if we don't get that lesson, I fear there will be worse things coming. If we get it, it's the beginning of then, because if we can't heal each other, how are we going to heal our world? And how are we going to grow the consciousness that it'll take to prevent the ecosystem from collapsing? Because already we have serious storms coming from
Yeah.
the damage, done. And so the scientists have already said we're at the beginning of an extinction event. Whether we can stop it or not, we're unsure. One thing COVID taught us, we can do a global response. The first time in the history of this world, we did a global response to something.
Wow.
Because
I never thought of that. Right. We did.
yeah, that's how the vaccine people keep asking me, how'd they get the vaccine so quick? I said, when you have all the science of the world at your fingertips, what else can we come up with? Imagine.
Imagine.
So if we can put that same mind to work to preserve our earth, which I think we need to start doing some quarantine time just to lay off of our impact on the earth. We didn't shut down. We have the internet. Thank you. Thank you, Mother Fate, for that. And I think we learned a lot.
I think we did.
Oh.
Living in Los Angeles, I remember when it first came down and everybody didn't know what it was. And the towns were a ghost town. You driving down Los Angeles. And I remember the first announcement, they said, LA, Los Angeles had like the best air quality ever.
Let me here just
ring the bell.
This is no ordinary bell. Of course, this is a Cornish piskie bell.
Oh,
that's a traditional image of the Cornish piskie. This is close. This is about 100 years old.
So tell us, what is a Cornish? Yeah.
Well, in Cornwall, the fairy tradition there centers around these little beings called a piskie, and that's the original spelling for what we now know as pixie, right? And these piskies are very powerful. They're small, but some say they have the strength of 100 men, each one. Well, when I was in Cornwall, we went to and this was been there a couple of times. We were in the cave of Merlin's cave in Tintagel, and I saw the piskies crawling all over with these eyes, not with the third eye, with this one, these ones, and they were crawling all over the place. And they saw me seeing them, and they were great. And so I saw them there and at a couple other places in Cornwall. So for years now, I've been fascinated with that particular fairy tradition. So I've been collecting these little pisky images. It used to, they still do them, but there was the original guy who did them would take them to a sacred well, bless them, and they were numbered. And each one was blessed so that it was imbued with one of the spirits. So when you buy these old ones, which are, they're harder to find, but me, I'm collecting them. I adore them. And so my Pisky bell is to keep those chaotic spirits at bay,
Good, good. I guess I need to find myself a Pisky bell. I love that.
I'll watch out for one for you.
Okay, please do. Let me know. I'll get there. I will get it. Yeah, I'm a bell girl. I have bells and chimes everywhere. Again, that sound thing is my thing. So.
Oh, then I should tell you about the tongueless bell, the silent bell. The tongueless bell was something I learned about in our craft tradition. And that is you get a bell, usually it's an old bell, and you take the clapper out, right, the ringer part. It never is to ring again. You then dedicate that to working with the ancestors. Isn't that incredible?
I have a bell that I lost the clapper, and I thought, I still have it. I think I still have it. And I was so sad. Now I'm going to be happy. Can I?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And it rings in the fairy realms. There's a saying that, what is it? Topsy-turvy, topsy-turvy. Up, but down is up and up is, wait a minute, okay, topsy-turvy, topsy-turvy. Up is down and down is up. The bell becomes the witch's cup. So there's a whole mystery between the bell and the cup. And in some old covens, they would, has a bell, even take the chalice, turn it upside down and ring it by hitting it with the blade, And so the tongueless, isn't that nice? The tongueless bell then is dedicated to the ancestors and the underworld.
I got to go find my tongueless bell.
Because if it had a tongue, it has rang in this world, and then when you remember that sound, and then when you take the clapper out, when you ring it, you hear it in the inner world as you're ringing it, but no one hears it in the outer.
I'm so excited. I'm going to run upstairs right now. No, I'm not going to run. Thank you, Orion. I'm going to ring my underworld and otherworld bell much more regularly because I knew I had to keep it, and I knew it was special, but I didn't know why.
Well, you're a natural witch. You knew. You just knew.
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah, right. It's sitting on my piano, actually. But now I could take away that little bit of sadness and for joy.
Absolutely. It's been reborn.
Everything.
Now, what I would do with it is cleanse it, right? And then there's something, I can't remember, I think it's La Couche or something. I learned this in New Orleans voodoo. A friend of mine taught me this. Whenever you clean certain tools, and maybe you're repurposing them for something else, then you put them for a period of time, at least a few nights, maybe even a week or a month even. You lay them in their own bed and put them to sleep on a bed of cleansing herbs and peaceful herbs. Let them go to sleep. And then you take them out and you rename them.
Oh.
And they're reborn. Isn't that fun?
And so romantic and so magical. And yes, I'm going to go find my bell and put it to bed. Sleep nicely. Thank you. So all my people out there listening and watching are going, oh my God, I love this man. So yes, that's why we have them on every single year. So now we are at the new year. What are some of the things that do you have specific rituals or practices, both ending a year, protection, stepping into the new year? What are some of your magic?
Absolutely. Can I do a quick blessing as we go into that?
You would be honored.
And this is one of the old fairy ones. Stand I at the crossroads, at the place between night and day, and with my witch's finger open I the fairy way. And stand I at the crossroads, at the place between life and death, and bless I now each one of you with my witch's breath. May this breath go out to all who hear and all who need, and bring you health, wisdom, and wealth, the divine three. And as my word, so mote it be. Let this be written into the book of the law, that none may rend asunder as it is, was, and ever shall be.
Thank you. I can feel it. Thank you.
Oh,
And
bless you.
everybody
Thank
out
you.
there, my
So
first
there's
of the new year. That is,
the
I'm
new year.
all giddy. All right. So, and where do we go from here?
There's so much I want to say. There's just so much
Say it.
to be said about it. And one of those things is um, January itself is actually named after an ancient Roman god, Janus,
Hmm.
which it looks like it's spelled Janus. Yeah, you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Janus, and the month, of course, being January.
Okay.
And so uh, it is said that to carry any image of Janus, especially if you have a Janus coin, which you have to order those, and that would take a while to get to you, to carry anything of Janus's on you uh, is good luck during New Year's. Now, I highly advise people to do this. January, Janus is one of the few ancient gods whose worship never stopped. Did you know that all of the practices that we do for New Year's, the making of New Year's resolutions,
Mhm.
the even the importance of midnight shifting over from New Year's Eve to New Year's, the toasting, all of that is associated with the devotion to Janus. So that means for years, whether you know it or not, the things you've been doing at that time have been ancient practices in praise to this particular divinity. They call him, I think it's like Deum Devorum or something like that. But basically, the name means the God of gods. This is a very interesting divinity to know about. And it was Julius Caesar who, when he converted the calendar over to the Julian calendar, um, that made January the first of the beginning of this year, because it used to be the Ides of March, which is March 15. Now, it's kind of nice to know, and then I've got lots of other things to say on this, on this stuff to do, that there are two divinities that were worked with, one at March 15th, one at January 1st. And these two divinities give us some insight into time, because a lot of the mysteries of January is about time, but isn't all of the mysteries of the craft about time, whether that's solar time, lunar time? It's really all time is, time in the way we think of it, is the percent of the Earth's rotational that it takes a photon to get to Earth from the edge of the sun when it leaves it, right? And that's how we measure, say, an Earth minute, an Earth hour, an Earth day. And so when we think of time, and we're going to have to start really thinking about this a different way as we travel through space, because time is different on each planet, and aging would be different on each planet. Um, and so Janus is about the thresholds of time, right? Janus is the god of the doorways. So one of the things you would want to do at New Year's is to stand in any doorway that you want and make wishes or call out for blessings in Janus's name, or call out to Janus. In fact, Janus, according to the Pneuma, which is ancient Roman religion, um, nothing begins without first giving praise to Janus. Nothing, literally no ritual, no day, no endeavor. So not just at New Year's. New Year's is to ask for him to bless your year. But there's also another time to ask another being, and that's March 15th. So Janus, as we go into the New Year's, to keep him in mind, he is the god that has one head, two faces, right? But that's one form of him. That's Janus bifrons. There's Janus quadrifrons too, which he sees all four directions. Now, this divinity is so interesting. And some would say some aspects of him was a prototype for how many see Jesus today.
Wow.
Janus was a man, and he was the king of Latium, which was a city before Rome. Latium prospered under his rule, and he was very much a god of peace, or a king of peace. Now, the old story says that how he got the two faces. Now, this is the face that looks to the past and the face that looks to the future, right? He's the ever present. Is that when Kronos was ousted, right? The old story of Kronos eating his children. That's really about time eats its children, and hence, they die and that sort of thing. So with the onset of the Olympians were about culture and the libraries, the universities, civilization. So now we're talking about how humans marshal time for productivity. So, and that's very much what Zeus was a god of. Well, I was going somewhere with that. So, when Zeus ousted Kronos, which incidentally, this was done when Kronos was still munching down his children, and the goddess Rhea wrapped up a stone in swaddling clothes. This sounds familiar, doesn't it? And threw the stone to Kronos and said, "Here's the baby Zeus, I found him." And Kronos quickly, nom, 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 because that's, I guess, what time does. And so, and then, Zeus sliced him open and got the gods out of him. But the thing that people often don't notice about that story, first of all, is that, and then back to Giannis, is that she threw a stone. A stone is the only thing impervious to time. The elements will shape a stone, but like if you have a meteor, and I have meteorites here, a meteor is often billions of years old, not millions, right?
Yeah.
So so to know the mysteries of stones is to understand the mysteries of timelessness, and how time can become impervious, right?
Yeah.
So we stand between two types of time that we want to understand. One is time marshaled in bits, right? Whether that's a year, an hour, a minute, a second. Giannis is connected to the thresholds of time, which is why the doorway, the gateway. In fact, his temple is just a giant gateway, right? And when it's open, they would be at war. When it's closed, they're at peace. Containment then versus non-containment, peace and war. Really, it's a really interesting divinity. How he became a divinity, by the way, was Kronos. Then he's been ousted, but he's immortal, right? So he's wandering the land now, and he comes to Latium, and he meets the king of Latium, who was Giannis at that time, still a human. And in the legend, Giannis says, "Come, God should not be wondering about your Holy One. Come sit on my throne and rule with me." And so now time and mankind come together. That's why he has two faces. One is also human, and one is of the old God. One is young, the new year, the old year. Now time is a friend to humanity, and not one wandering, lost, or a devourer. It's incredible mystery. And then now Giannis, this God that is not, he's a lesser known God as these ancient gods go, but yet he's one of the most important. He's the one they called on before all of them, because he's opened the way, and he's also the man God. Sounds familiar too?
Yeah,
So
these stories are repeated.
really incredible. But then there's another divinity to know about, and that's Anna Perenna. And Anna Perenna, the short of that is Anna, meaning annual, year, Perenna, perennial, the eternal year, right? So one is of the eternal, never stopping year, and then of the other one is of the marshaled year. Uh, so these are two divinities I'd highly recommend people look into. They're incredible. Um, so we have this practice in my tradition, and it happens right at the turn of the year. Okay, and I'll give you a couple of those. One of them is you have a meal prepared. You know how we all celebrate New Year's, woohoo, right? And then often we munch and we toast and we munch. But then one of the things that I do is I'll stop. And I'll go, did y'all hear that? And some people, if they're new to it, they won't know. No, what was it? What? There was a knock at the door. I didn't hear it, but the folks who were here know about it go, I heard it. I said, I'll go get it. I think I know who it is. Now, you should already have a plate prepared, setting there at your table, the drink and with food on it on the plate. And you go to the door and open and go, hello, spirit of good fortune and prosperity. I was hoping you would come. Come on in. Please, we've set a feast for you. Come in and party and join with us. And in fact, stay with us all year.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? And
Yes.
that simple practice. And then what you do is from time to time, you make sure you give a little food, give a little, some kind of offering to the spirit of prosperity and well-being. You get what you court. It's like I travel a lot and people often show me their altars. And one of the first things I look for is, the magic, the magic you make is the magic that makes you. What you conjure conjures you.
Mm-hmm.
So if in the course of being there, they've said, well, maybe money's not doing so good, or maybe love hasn't come and I really want to love her. And, all the different things that we humans might want. And so when I see their altar, and I look around their home, I'll say, so where are they in your family? And they, well, what do you mean? I said, you have to court what you want. We are what we believe we are, right? We are, I heard this guy, it was wonderful, it was on Instagram, and he was kind of a motivational speaker, and he was a former NFL player. And he said, when we are born, we're born in the shape of our parents. But when we die in the shape of our choices. That's powerful. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And see, magic is about the art of conscious creation. When you're working magic, you're basically saying, and this is the way I describe it when I teach conjure, and conjure has a slight Christian version to it because it was a syncretic practice. I say the conjure worker understands it's made in the likeness and image of the divine that made it, and therefore should be able to do many of the things the divine does, but with supervision and at a lesser scale, of course. So the divine is, so to do magic is to live the divine imprint that we are. If we are in any way made in the image of that which made us, then we've got to free that out of us, because the universe, the divine, whatever you want to call it, God, Goddess, all that is, has never been you before. Not the you are. Now, some years ago, I spoke to, in this particular time, I spoke to the Father God, and I asked him, I said, is there any unforgivable sins? And he said, no, of course not. And I said, but there are things that make you weep, because in the silent times of the night, at the witching hour, I have heard God weep. And he went quiet. He said, yes, there are things that make me weep. And I said, like what? He said, when a person dies, never becoming itself, consciously, never ever allowing out from it the life that is in it to become itself, a piece of me dies forever and will never be. He goes, and that I weep. Isn't that potent?
Wow.
Yeah. So these times, these points, these rhythms, see things like New Year's or our birthdays or the days of the week or the points along the lunar calendar, or even if you're a witch, the 8 Sabbats of the year.
Yeah.
Those are all about places in the rhythm of life, right? Because witches sensitize and synchronize with the rhythm of Mother Fate. And we know that there's these thresholds where the light of the heavens pours into the earth, rises up out to the horizon, forms are woven, and may descend back into the earth again and back into the heavens, and then come back down again. There's a constant cycle that goes on. So the New Year's time is a cycle that we've established in the human world. And it's a time for reflecting on what we've achieved in the year and what we didn't. what we want and what we don't want. And so to do magic, like going to the doorway, and one
Mm.
thing I would advise people to do is cleanse your house if you can before do a spiritual cleansing of some types to your home to begin to move those things out that you don't want, right? See, magic is not about sitting around and going, well, whatever happens, whatever comes, will be. A witch says, no. There's a balance between as thy will so mote it be, and a balance between as my will so mote it be.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and one of the prayers, in fact, in our tradition, Lady Circe used to do this when she do magical working. She'd say, "If I am right, help me to stay. If I am wrong, please show me the other way." To ensure that she's right on.
That's
So so there's the thing so you want to cleanse your house and begin to contemplate what is it? You've got this empty pot. And that empty pot, that empty vessel, that new year approaching, what is it that you want to call from it and put into it, right? Uh, it was that saying, "'Tis better to light a candle than to curse the darkness," right?
Mm.
So right now, as we approach that threshold, we should be in deep contemplation. Now, what a lot of the old witches would do is really between Hallows and Yule, because they'd be getting ready for Candlemas or Imbolc to release or to birth outward, right? What it was that they wanted to happen in their lives. But now would be the time to also spend some time in envisioning yourself falling deep into the memory of the world, down into the bed chambers where life and death are in an embrace. Because this time, especially on the East Coast, we see this, right? And that is, we see the leaves fall at fall, and we see, so life is going inward, right? Life is going from the Isle of Stone and Bone, or Isle of Stone and Bone, into the Isle of Recess and Dreams. And so in the tradition, you allow yourself to fall like the fallen leaves, or fall like the temperature, and let yourself just fall down into the memory of the earth, into this sort of a open space that's in the earth, the underworld, where then you seek the world's soul. The world's soul is the Great Mother who has now fallen into her time of memory and dreaming. In the vision, as I was taught it, when you go into the underworld and you seek her, usually she's lying on a big bed, and she's surrounded with all the dreams of the world, right? And they're hanging down, and like these little uh, uh, kind of like ornaments, right? And she's guarded by the Lord of the underworld, who's a giant, he's massive. And we simply say, "I come in the name of the Queen," but she's still sleeping and dreaming. Usually what will happen is he'll lift you up, or something will fall down to you, one of those little things that are hanging around her bed, and you take it, and it will tell you what part of the dream of the soul of the world are you to carry out, or is the dream for your year. And then you rise with that. That's called seeking the world's soul.
Mm.
Now, if you envision that opening into the undercountry and you go down, uh, one of the traditional ways is you go down a spiral stairway made of hewn stone, worn smooth by all the ancient feet who have trod it. But when you rise back up, you rise up the golden stairway. So it's the stone down and the gold up, you know, which has to do with the purification of the self. I highly recommend any magic worker on here to do that, to allow themselves to fall down into the memory of the land, questing the Great Mother, the sleeping child of promise that lies sleeping on a bed of blue flame, dreaming the world into existence. That's another aspect of it, like the androgynous child, the child of the universe, the child that is the ever renewing, ever young, like the Mabon child, lying at the core of the world. See, seek it in the version of the ever young child, who is dreaming, or the great mother who's dreaming, and see what part of the year is for you, you know? Now, anybody who has something called a hagstone. Hagstones, let's see, I've got mine around my neck. Hopefully you can see it. Uh, and it's what they call a self-bore stone, right? And these are stones that you often find around the ocean. On the West Coast, I used to find them a lot in San Mateo, actually, on the beach there. But you can find them multiple places. If you can, you get the ones that are flint. Those are the ones, they're the more durable, but you can use any of them. And these stones were highly, highly prized in pretty much all the ancient civilizations, all the way from Egypt throughout the Isles, even in many Native American traditions. And some call it the Holy Stone, the Odin Stone, the Witch Stone, the Self-Bore Stone, has a bunch of names. But because it is the space in it was formed, they used to think it was formed by water going through, but actually it's by these little mollusks that actually eat through the stone, would you believe? But the water is also involved, and it's in water. And water in the ancient world was considered so pure, it would reject anything that was impure. And that's why, unfortunately, it was used in the dunking of witches. But we know that that was sabotage from the beginning. There was
Right.
no way she could win. But you take these stones, a self-bore. So any of you have them, use them. Any of you don't have them, go to your local store, go out to the Green Man store, go out to
All
Serpent's
over the
Kiss.
world. These folks are all over the world.
Yep. Oh, they can get these all over the world. Go to Waterways or go on eBay. eBay even has them. And so the tradition is that because the space that's in the middle is considered pure space because of its relationship to water. Now, the truth is, these stones are earth because they're a stone. If you get a flint one, it's also fire because flint is used to ignite a spark and bring fire. It's also water because it has grown in the water and been, some of the boring of it's been by water and by this mollusk, and of course it's stone. So all four of the elements are in it. And right as you cross into midnight, the tradition is that you take them and you speak into them because this is pure unclaimed space, right? And you speak into them your wishes for this year.
I'm going
That's an
to
old practice.
I'm going to do that. I found some beautiful hagstones in the Southern California beaches. We have
Oh
great beaches,
yeah.
and I found beautiful ones.
Oh, you can get gorgeous ones out there. I've seen big ones too. I'm actually putting together a workshop that I'll be teaching soon about the hagstones. These are about as traditional as witchcraft gets. These were so valued, and the lore on them is so much more than people realize. So now there's also a tradition that because it is New Year's, it's the time of a potentiality that sometimes the spirits associated with the year that you don't want, right? Maybe, or the things that you don't want, may still be clinging to us, which is why you do your ritual baths, you know, and in fact, I learned this is an Appalachian thing. When I was a little boy, I learned it where you get into the water and you're washing down, or in the shower and you're washing down. First, you tap on the water, two quicks, one slow, like da da da, and you say, "Awaken unto life, sister water." Ha! Do the ha breath, so the breath reaches the water. Ha! I honor you. I see you. I remember your power, your purity to cleanse. I pray you now. I call you now. I beseech you now. Cleanse me of all that is weighing me down. Cleanse me of all that would restrict and diminish me. Cleanse me from that which is girdling my soul. And so then, as you're in the water, you're washing yourself down, and then you do something called the scissor cut. And the scissor cut is like this, like a scissor. You're going down as you're washing down, singing. See, let me get my voice together here. Water wash the ill away, water wash it gone. As the darkness gives away, comes the rising sun. Water, 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 wash it gone. Water, 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 wash it gone. Then water wash the ill away, water wash, and you keep going until you're done. cleansing, you know, and clearing yourself of that which you do not want, right? And I'll also have things like hyssop sometimes in there, or any number of the cleansing herbs, but you don't have to. It can be just the water once you've awakened it,
I
right?
love that. Too slow and too fast in a coat. Okay, I can't wait to get in the shower, find my hagstone, get my bell. Oh my God, I'm so excited about this new year.
Well, you could take the hagstone in too. Did you know the hagstone, it has a mouth, right? It has a mouth. So as you're taking the hagstone down in water, you can also ask it to pull off of you whatever's pulling on you, and pull off illness, and then let that water run through the hole and then pour it down the drain. Also, the hagstone's used that way as well. Isn't this cool? These
This is
things are
so cool. All right, now, oh my gosh, I could listen to you for hours and hours and hours, but I can't. So you're going to have to come back before next year. That's all I know. I
I
just
would
have to
love
have
it.
the Orion moment much more often because I'm
Thank you. I
so
love being
excited.
on here.
And so tell everybody where they can find you, your books, what you have. I have a shelf full, which I didn't bring over right here. So tell people where they can find you and your magic and read your magic.
I'd like to say my website, but one of these days I'll get it caught up. And so it's there, and it does have a contact us. So orionfoxwood.com. That is a way. I'm also on social media a lot. I'm on Instagram a good bit, and I'm on Facebook a good bit. And so if you contact me there, it's just Orion Foxwood. I'm on there, and I do respond. Uh, and I also post workshops. I'm working on a workshop that'll be probably over the next week or two. It's going to be soon, on Magic at the Threshold, taking things like we're talking about here and more of it. And so if you're interested in more of that, that would be great. It'll be an online one. Um, and God, I'm working on a library right now.
Oh,
That
yeah.
I'm not ready to open that yet. It's still coming together. But my vision was to create the largest library on folkloric fairy tradition in the world. And I'm pretty sure I've already passed that. And so, but I'm also putting in a lot that's old traditional witchcraft, folkloric witchcraft. So stay tuned on that. That's coming together. Now, that is not to, there's another library that's already been developed, the New Alexandria Library. And if y'all don't know about it, it is founded and run by some fine, fine witches who I've known for many years. And I intend uh, to donate a whole bunch of books over there as well. This is what I did during quarantine, and then I got addicted, and so I'm still collecting those books. And these books, I don't think anything's younger than 100 years in this collection, because I'm a bit of a snob that way. I like the old magics, also because they're easily lost, and there's a lot of things that people think are gone and simply aren't. Not as much was destroyed during the Inquisition as people think,
Oh,
but it was preserved in clever ways.
that is so beautiful. Well, you guys, check his books. He's got some beautiful books out. He has got on conjure, on fairy tradition, on all sorts of beautiful things. He's got one of the most magical men you will ever meet. And now you've met him. So
Thank you.
check him out, follow him on social media, do your New Year's magic. And thank you, Orion. I
Thank
feel like
you.
I'm floating. Thank you.
Thank you. May all the powers of love encompass you through all nights and through all days and in all good ways. Thank you, Patty. Keep doing this great work you do. To all listening, many blessings to you all.
I have nothing to say beyond that. Thank you.
Thank you.